Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Monday. Don't know what we're going to get today, but I'm sure it will be interesting to say the least. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. It's raining a bit where I am right now, but it's a very peaceful, calm rain. You can actually barely even hear it, but it is steady. So, hope that your Monday, way too many, is off to a good start for a prosperous week. All right, we got the King of, I see something else. The King of Cups, okay. We got the King of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. Okay, some offer, or more or less an offer of an emotional essence and a gift, actually, give and take perhaps. Gift of love is what I hear. Love offering. A love offering. Never picked that up before. That's like when you think, well, for those that aren't churchy or have no connection to church, as I do, a love offering in the way that I'm hearing it, or the way I'm most connected to it, I'll say that, because it could be something completely different here, but just to share it as it's come up, is when the congregation is incited to give a special offering. So outside of like your tithes, or offering for the misfortunate, or things like that, where it's more of a missionary type of offering, there's a love offering, which is more or less like a gifting, and usually it's either going to the pastor or for some special, some parishioner in the church, which definitely gives me this vibes here in a sense, because he's definitely an official of some sorts holding the balance scales. This card, in a simple sense, is about equal give and take. The exchange of the needy, well, not the needy, but it's the difference between like being a benefactor and a beneficiary, pretty much. So that exchange in life that is cyclical, where sometimes you're in the position to give and sometimes you're in the position of receiving, meaning you have it to give, and you can almost, like, in a sense, give an offering or give out of love or just benevolence, whatever the case may be. This is almost missionary vibes too, now that I'm thinking. I can't wait to see how this unfolds, because I don't know why it's taking me on this trajectory, but it's interesting. So anyway, love offering is what I hear in the beginning. But like I said, it's like there's always this up and down, balance between sometimes you'll be in a position to need and sometimes you'll be in a position to give. So it's kind of a reminder to be intentional about having a heart, what's the right word I'm looking for? A generous heart, for the most part, because you never know when you actually might be the one that needs that generosity in return. It's not as stark as a have and have nots card, but sometimes I can see it that way. But in this regard, it's more about an equal give and exchange, or like I said, a love offering or a gift. So let's see. Because you know how I feel about knights and pages sometimes. You never know, but this is interesting to start. Yeah, see, you never know, but that's too many. So let's see what we got. That was the Seven of Swords on top of a heap of cards. Let's see. I'll take it. And here we go. And here we go. Okay, let's see. We got Five of Wands, competition, chaos, perhaps conflict. Then we got the Moon card, which is something that is obscure or concealed, maybe perhaps secret emotions that are deep seated. Yeah. All right. So I'll see how this shifts, but what I'm hearing is that there's someone that wants to make an offering as it. Okay. All right. All right. There's someone that is approaching with a love offering. A love is more the quotations because there is an offer, but the quotations is on love, right? So there it's presenting itself to be, a kind gesture or some emotional extension, something that has the facade, or maybe it's not even a facade, but it's just not 100% pure. There's something hidden behind it. So this is what I'm sensing, that this person is approaching to make a love offering, but it's on account of the fact that they're a little bit in need right now, whether it be in need of money or in need of stability, just in need of a break in life, like maybe they're perhaps in this position here where things haven't been going well some type of way. Remember, this is still Pentacle energy, which is material, money, finances, energy, time, more time than energy, but of course energy transmutes into, or transfers into, one of them transits into money ultimately. So if you're low on energy, you ultimately probably are low on finances or stability in some way, shape, or form. It does have an impact or an effect. So all that to say that they're making an offer, and maybe perhaps even presenting, this is what I hear, they're presenting themselves to be in a stabilized position, as in this diplomat with the balanced scales, very harmonious, willing to give, wanting to be benevolent, as I said, like the love offering, as I said, something extra to ultimately be of a gifting or add value to whomever he's positioning himself to be in receipt of this. However, given this energy here, what I'm really sensing is that he's more in this position of need than he actually is in a position to give. This is the facade. Even being the knight on the white horse is a part of the drama of it all, to present a certain persona or appearance as if all is well and he's coming to be of assistance or savior, or to protect or be loving in some sort of way. Not just loving, but also giving as well. This idea of harmony and balance in an emotional sense. But first of all, with him holding the scales, it's like, in this regard and how I'm reading these cards, it's almost like the knockoff of the Justice card, So there's some balance that he's definitely looking to achieve or acquire, but it's not, like I said, the purest form of justice in the sense that it'll be equal for all. He probably has more to gain from the receipt of his offer than the person that is receiving it would gain from actually receiving it, if that makes sense. Because here we got the Five of Wands, which is this chaos and conflict. Like, I feel like there's an escape, perhaps, or like I said, something has been awry, or been imbalanced in his life with the Five of Wands, that he may be transitioning from in some way, shape, or form, or just moving away from. And even if it's not actually physically so, which this definitely implies, that it's energetically with the wand energy, that he's going through quite a bit of some conflict here, and he's just looking to relieve himself with someone that perhaps he finds equal balance and give and take with. The issue is that there's much under the surface that's uncovered. Either this conflict itself is unknown to the receiver of said offer. Consider like a knight, someone that's trying to come to the table. The Knight of Cups can be emotionally manipulative in his lowest vibration. There's he can even be seductive, I would say, in a sense. Like he knows how to kind of like pull on your heartstrings, to say the right things, maybe even do the right things initially to make you feel safe and secure, is what that's giving me right there. But under the surface, there's something that he's not willing to share, or that if he did share it, it would ultimately unveil the true nature of his presence, what he's either bringing to the table along with him, or what he's left in his wake in some way, shape, or form. And either way, there's still some connection to it, or it wouldn't even matter for the moon card to be present here. That there's even in the night, there's the moon illumination where the figures may be a bit distorted. It's not quite as clear as the light of the sun, but there's still some light to be shed on something going on under the surface. Maybe just emotionally so for him, as he's presenting himself to be available for some emotional exchange, whereas he's still got a lot of healing to do on account of the conflict that has occurred in his past experiences, and he hasn't quite yet healed from them. With the Four of Cups here, he's not even in a position, he's emotionally unavailable, is to put it plainly. He's not even in a position, he's not willing to receive the cup of love from a divine nature for himself to be nourished and revitalized. So someone that's not willing to accept love from on high, from a pure essence in nature that ultimately would be healing for his soul, is certainly not in a position to offer love outside of himself in a way that would truly be vital, So there's that. Love offering is not all it's cracked up to be. It may look good, it may sound good, it may even feel good, but in essence, that cup is either tainted or it's not really as full as he would like to project it is. Okay, so we got the Hermit card and the Fool. Okay, so yeah, so this is like spiritual guidance, or someone that this is what it really is, that he gets to go on this journey within, and he hasn't quite gone there yet. Or he's taken a shortcut, or trying to, that's what I hear, like trying to take a shortcut for the purposes of almost accelerating his healing, or at least the appearance of his healing. Maybe in essence, he really truly does want to start the process of healing, but I don't know why. To me, it's just giving me, especially given he's turned into the direction of the conflict, like this conflict is still looming overhead, and there's still some darkness associated with it as well. So it feels like, to me, like he's trying to sidestep his healing by way of neglecting the conflict that still is active in some way, shape, or form. But even with his best intentions to really lean into that healing, it's virtually impossible for it to be holistic, again, with the dismissal or the rejection of this Ace of Cups here with the Four of Cups, it's virtually impossible for it to be 100% impactful and holistic, because there's still some unresolved conflict, perhaps even in an emotional sense, with the energies that are unresolved behind him, and how not only have they impacted him, but also how he helped to create this energy and contribute to it. It's like he's trying to, what's the right word? It's like he's trying to put a Band-Aid on a freaking, I don't know, like a gaping wound is the image that I kind of have, you know, where there may need to actually be some stitches, you know, like you bust down to the white meat damn near from what you've incurred, and, you know, your contribution and creativity in the midst of it, because that's definitely what it gives me. But you're trying to like just, you know, soothe the surface, or at least just almost like patch it up, you know, like if I can just get through this moment, this journey perhaps, or if I can get to my destination and look unscathed, or even with the appearance of a bandage, you know, there's like this willingness to show that there's some hurt or misfortune or some impact that's been incurred, but not willing to show the depths of it all. That's what it is. So he's rejecting the depth of this circumstance, which would be vital information for someone that he's looking to make a love connection or a love offering to. You know, someone that you really are trying to purely connect with emotionally would want to know and should be privy to know that you're still dealing with some deep-seated issues, you know, or even some active conflict, you know, but I don't get the sense, which is why it's like a type of situation. And the moon is here because I don't get the sense that he finds value in sharing that information. He knows that that's going to be a detriment to ultimately what he is ambitious for. The Knights are more or less ambitious for some type of territory or outcome, engagement, dare I say, victory or treasure, you know, acquisition, perhaps. There's always some ambition attached to the Knight. And here is definitely some emotional, well, it's an offering of emotional exchange, but it's more so for the purposes of some material stability or security. So even that is a mismatch. But again, like I said, I get the sense that there is some acute desire to be healed, even if it's simply for the purposes of presentation. I get that it's more than that. Like there's definitely been some awakening for the need to be transformed or to seek some new avenue of vitality in life, because what's been happening has not really been working. But I don't get the sense that he's really completely followed that path, or even is willing to follow the path wholly and completely in the way that he's being guided to. Because if you're really trying to heal something deeply, you know, you're going to go, it's like, consider like the 12-step program, for instance. You're not going to skip steps. That's going to negate the process. You know, it's going to be void in your ultimate success, avoiding your success, because if you go and do 1, 2, and 3, but you skip 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then want to jump ahead to 9, 10, 11, 12, you're going to have a gaping hole, literally, with this moon card and some of the steps of that process that would have ultimately allowed you to fully become whole and complete, at least in that ambition of healing. You know, not to say the 12-step program is the end all be all, but just an example. I feel like there's a plan and a process that is that has potential here for him to have a new beginning, if he's truly willing to follow that in faith and in fortitude, you know, really trusting the process. It's not, when you're going on a spiritual journey, going within, Sometimes you don't want to keep going. Sometimes you do want to stop and start again. And sometimes you do stop and start again. And sometimes you want to reach back for old vices and ways to self-soothe and things that are going to be more immediately gratifying and sensational than the path that it takes to really, get real with yourself. It's not the most satisfying journey at first, as I'm sure the 12-step program probably isn't, but you have to kind of walk in faith, believing that as you stick it out, there's going to be some great value to gain on the other end. So all that to say is that I'm sensing that he's been, and perhaps like he started some process of healing, and he feels almost like, okay, I'm good, you know what I mean? Or he feels like he's good enough and collected himself enough to at least present himself as some potential, to some suitor or partnership or, whatever the case may be, but still sidestepping the deep internal work for the sake of this surface sense of security is what I hear. So be aware, if you're on a healing journey yourself, to just allow, go with the flow of the process. Ooh, wow, I hardly ever get wow. If you've been watching me long enough on any platform, I hardly ever get reversals. And this is exactly this feels like what I was saying, but let me take another one to see. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm gonna move these over and keep them together. So we got the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Like, it's so rare for me that I have to like recondition my mind in a sense, because it's speaking to multiple things. So this is the offering of the partnership here. What he's offering, making his love offering to, makes perfect sense, because if it's for the purposes of stability, you would want to offer that to the Queen of Pentacles, who, number one, has it to give and has it to share, but also is in nature like a nurturer. She's incited to be almost the motherly energy. All the queens have some essence of, kinda. I say the Queen of Cups can be definitely a mother figure in some regards, depending on the frequencies that are surrounding her. But the Queen of Pentacles is definitely a nurturer. She's definitely considered the mother, the one who takes care of house, of home. She's committed to her responsibilities. She's prosperous, blase, blase. So you would want to offer some exchange of love. You can't really offer her money, because she doesn't really necessarily need that in that regard, most likely. She's already more or less pretty productive and prosperous on her own. So you would offer, and it doesn't look like he has much to give at this point anyway. So if you're looking for the exchange in return, then you would offer some emotional extension of expression. I love you. You're the one that I've been wanting to be with. I find great value in your love, your energy. I see this damn fly. He better not try to come and get your ass out of here. I got my window open. Oh, now it's starting to rain a little heavier. So, which is interesting that it was like 2 flies actually at the window. Oh, I done heard something. I'm gonna keep going before I say it though, because that's the essence of this offer here. It's like he would want to make some type of investment to the Queen of Pentacles, assuming that she would want more money. Why not? Like, who turns down money? Not that she needs it, but if it's an investment worth while, something that's going to be lucrative or prosperous, then she would be one that would be open to that collaboration. But this is in the reverse. So that's telling me that he don't have no money. He doesn't have anything of value truly to offer on account of whatever has been incurred here. And I'm sensing, because what I just said was it was 2 flies at my window. Flies are really like monitoring spirits, and they're kind of like, you know what flies do. They descend onto shit, pretty much. You know, they're not the cleanest creatures. So I feel like that whatever is going on underground here is either on account of where he's been rejected or dejected, because there's a couple here that I'm seeing. As soon as I saw that, and under the moon, there's, oh my goodness. So there's a couple here. I mean, there's 2 entities here that are like, they look like wolves or hounds, right? Howling at the moon, and that's what's going on in the darkness. 2 couples here are the ones that are in need in this picture. 2 couples here are in the devil energy, bound and blocked, maybe even to, you know, their own addictions, to distractions, possessions. Oh, now the sun has completely come out. As you can see on the table, it's like it started raining real good, and then just the sun just pierced through. So that, I feel like that's like sun card energy right there. Like that, this is something of value in this moment, especially in contrast to the moon. That what's under the surface is that he's offering himself as some viable exchange of love. That's why I keep saying love offering, because he ain't got no love for whomever he's offering to. He actually is coming on account or behalf of perhaps either some relationship that is under the surface, you know, something that he's connected to either in real time or was connected to in real time, that either left him depleted of his finances right here under the moon card, or is in some collaboration of wanting to acquire some stability. And that's what I really feel here with this devil card, wanted to acquire, make some come up on account of someone else's fortune. So he's like the front man to go finesse, which the Queen of, not the Queen of Cups, the Knight of Cups is known to do in a lower vibration. Like I said, you emotionally manipulative to get his way, to make some advance for some outcome. He's the front man to scam and finesse for the purposes of trying to extract some stability or just extort, I would hear, some actual funds, material gain, or wealth from this Queen of Pentacles, who in some regard, even if it's not physically so, has something to offer. She's stable in some regard. Like I said before, it could be even energetically so. I kind of corrected myself. But as I said, when you have a prosperous energy or not, it has a direct effect on your material flow. And that's what this is representative here. Not to mention that she also is someone that has a propensity to be nurturing, a propensity to be benevolent, to be giving, again, because she has it to spare, and also because she has that motherly instinct within her to see a need and want to ultimately support it in some way or meet it in some way, shape, or form. But this is what is happening behind the scenes, behind her back. That this offer is more than just a finesse, like somebody that just wants to heal for the sake of, you know, I just heard pill addiction with this Page of Pentacles upside down. Because with the Devil card here, it's more than stability. It's something much more diabolical than that. It's like either fueling some pride and ego or some demonic intention of sorts that's just way out of balance, even to be possessive of this person in the first place, or to possess her energy or power or life force in a physical way, or in, in frequency, in one way, shape, or form, or in being in need, because the Page of Pentacles is an offer. This is someone that absolutely is willing to take, and that it's on account of something that's under the surface that, remember I said, it's like trying to put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound, because he's been trying to accelerate himself through some semblance. And I said, oh shit, I said 12-step. Oh my God. I said 12-step program. I don't even be hearing myself sometimes. I'm saying, this is the channeling of spirit I'm trying to tell you, because sometimes I don't even hear what I'm saying until I watch it back. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's what was going on. And it's a message for the universe, a message generally speaking, a message for me specifically, and hopefully a message for you. So it'd be like trifold, fourfold in essence. But anyway, sorry about that. So it's so much more diabolical than that. That's why I'm saying, like, I hardly ever get reversals. So that definitely was alarming to me, that whatever is under the surface is far more alarming than you would even imagine. And then I heard pill addiction. I already said 12-step program as an example. And with the devil card here, that's just solidifying it to me, that they're looking to find ultimately some, and look, they even look disheveled, like look vagrant in a sense. Like I said, that have and have nots energy, but in this regard, they look like beggars in that card, in the Six of Pentacles. Wow. And the conflict is maybe ultimately fighting this addiction, or being in conflict about the fact that there's no resource to ultimately, there's no resource to, and maybe it's drinking. It could be drinking. It doesn't have to be drugs, but with the moon card here too, for sure. And he's the Knight of Cups. Oh my God. I mean, seriously, the Knight of, okay. And we know, like, consider, this is a real caricature expression of knights. But if you think about like those medieval movies and stuff on their off time, sometimes you can get that depiction of the drunken soldiers, that are having a good time, when they're off battle. They're not, in active fight mode, where they're finessing the women in the village and, drinking and think Game of Thrones, perhaps, Well, I mean, I just got the visual of Castle Black, and obviously they weren't doing any of that. They had taken a vow against that, in honor for their duty. But so I don't know, but even me saying that's perhaps the conflict, that's not, the debauchery has come to a halt in some regard, and it's like a scramble to feed that addiction, because when you have an addiction, it doesn't go lightly, which is why I said, like, skipping them steps is really detrimental to your health ultimately, and to your healing, because if you don't take the steps, you most certainly won't have a chance of healing. You could do all the steps and still not quite meet the mark. Some people have to do it over and over again. But here, if you're trying to skip it or sidestep it for some fraudulent purposes, you definitely aren't healed, for sure. So that's what this is giving me, man. This is wow. And the reason he's the front man, because obviously they both can't come to the table like, man, please have some more. He has some emotional connection to this Queen of Pentacles, that he believes that, his advancement will ultimately be, the clincher or the bridge, as I said, for them to both satisfy whatever this need, this dire need, diabolically so, is. Wow, that is wild how that just came through. All right, let me try to move this up. Let's do another row, and then I'm out of here, because I don't want to stay in this energy too long. The Page of Pentacles reverse is enough for me, because that's like, not only is he not getting the message for himself, because it's really like, I don't know. That's what I sense. It's like he's been given the invitation to heal, to go on this journey, to clean up, to clean himself up, which, I know no disrespect or disregard to anyone that has an addiction of any magnitude, and that's great or small. Not that there is a such thing really, honestly, because an addiction is ultimately an imbalance that is causing some detriment to your health. So it could be shopping, it could be eating, it could be pornography, just to name one, like that's just what came up, pardon me for the expression. But it could also, of course, be drugs, could be drinking, it could be sex, it could be anything. Anything in imbalance is potentially harmful because we are called to be balanced. This energy here with the Hermit is what's calling him to some higher, to some deeper understanding and perhaps even awakening to a new beginning for himself, so that he has something to offer. But to me, like I said, it's like he's not receiving that invitation. He's not investing in himself in that way holistically for it to be in reverse. He's still more thoughtful about how to gain resources to self-soothe. And maybe it's perhaps like he is intentional about the healing, but that addiction is speaking louder than the will to heal at this time. Maybe on account of who he's still in company with, especially with the Five of Wands. He perhaps is still, and this is a rejection here. He's, like I said earlier, rejecting the spirit, nurturing and nourishment from the inside out. This is literally spirit saying, here, have this instead. And he's still looking at the alcohol. You know what I'm saying? He got his arms crossed to the water, the holy water, and still fiending for the drink, And like I said, it's no disrespect, because everybody has had something to contend with, or still does. You know what I mean? Like, you might think that it's small what you're dealing with, but in the grand scheme of things, harm is harm. To be completely transparent, I smoked hella weed in my days, not always like ridiculously so. I've kind of had ebbs and flow with it all, but ultimately I enjoy smoking weed. And in times of when I was in my lowest points and in turmoil, feeling rejected in a sense and needing to go deeper for understanding, but feeling a little bit isolated and such, not like I had much to offer, is when I leaned more into that habit, as we do, to self-soothe and medicate and numb ourselves to our emotional voids than anything. It took, and don't get me wrong, because I don't have anything against smoking weed. I can't even necessarily say for sure, for certain, that I'll never do it again. But what I do know is that the path that I was on and how I was indulging was very imbalanced. It was not productive for me. It wasn't adding to my vitality. It was taken away from my money and my stability in ways that I couldn't really justify. It wasn't, it might have done the job of numbing my senses for a time, but then eventually, especially if you're not smoking as premium as weed as you might want to or need to or even have access to. Sometimes you could smoke some stuff and be high for a minute and it drop you back down and you feel worse than before you even started, and it's like, do you continue on that path just for the momentary escape, which is ultimately what it is for, to escape your present circumstances? Or do you actually go a little bit deeper, take that dive, maybe go without that, what do you call it? That sobering process, which is very much so spiritual more than it even is physical, when you have to actually be in solitude and complete clarity with what's really going on under the surface here. You know, why am I in need of this escape in the first place? You know, what am I feeling? What's the void, and how can I fill it naturally by way of the spirit and not inorganically? You know, that's not really the word I was looking for when something is, I can't think of it. But inorganically is the opposite of what I'm trying to say. When something is like processed in a sense, but that's not even a word either. You get what I'm saying. Ultimately, I'm just having a moment of transparency here, so it can be understood that I am very clear on being imbalanced. Oh, that turned back over. I'm very clear on the imbalances of life and how they can captivate you and really, you know, condemn you from the inside out to the point where you don't even feel like you can go without smoking today, you know, or the idea of when you're running out, it's like you figuring out how to get to it. As in here, you ain't even got no money, but you're going to figure out a way, whether you engage yourself with people that indulge, so you end up in circles with people or in connections with people that you don't even really want to be around, that have the supply that you need, but ultimately are just encouraging you deeper into that hole, you know. And we just talking about weed here. That's one, I don't think that's even as hard of an overcoming in some regards, because sometimes you can actually think it's so harmless that, you know, even if you've spoken the best of the best, but if your abuse of it is detrimental, or your activity of it becomes abuse, then it doesn't matter how premium it is. It's about your habit and your attachment, literally with the devil card here, to it, you know. So all that to say, like, you could put yourself in circumstances that you really are a knight, someone that's a valiant honor, and that's being called to a higher, a lighter path, a greater calling, by way of really diving into those emotional constraints and unresolved issues that keep you connected to these cycles of toxicity, being around people that are in competition with you, or that energetically cause conflict in your spirit and in your world, and not being in the position. This is like two stark energies where you're not even in a position to accept the spirit of the divine, because you're too fixated on how to soothe from this void in the first place. And then you're surrounded by opportunities, and well, you're really incited by way of your connections to continue to do things that are not good at all, to continue to fuel this habit, you know, to continue to fund really this habit, is what this comes down to. And then instead of all that energy going towards your vitality, is going right into, you know, ultimately the pits of hell as it is, because once the high is gone, you're chasing a new one. And that's with every substance, alcohol, even food, you know what I mean? Shopping. Once you bought up the store, you don't even have nowhere to really wear the clothes. You know what I mean? Like, you probably got stuff in your closet that you haven't even worn yet, but it's the impulse to want to fill that void with new things or designer things or whatever the case may be, whatever the connection may be, that's ultimately trying to fill a void that needs to be filled from the inside out, you know, not with external things. So let's just go a few more on the bottom. Wow, this is amazing. So it's twofold, because there is being aware that some persons or person that could be extending himself in the way of a love offering may have something a little more in that cup than water. You know what I mean? So there's that, to be mindful, to be discerning, you know, of the fact that you have something great to lose and ultimately to protect. Really more great to love, I'd like to say, than to lose. and therefore to protect, on account of connecting your energy with someone that doesn't mean you well, that just by all regards is not able to be of value at this time. And be careful not to be caught up in the guilt or the feeling the obligation to want to help and nurture someone back to wholeness or health. Like maybe you even sense that there's something going on, even if you don't know all the ins and outs. And again, like the Queen of Pentacles does, she wants to nurture. Like, okay, well maybe my love can help bring him back to, my it's not even really it is love, but it's not the Queen of Cups. It could even be her resources, feeling impelled or compelled to want to give to this person who's obviously in need. Like even consider you see somebody on the street that you have an emotional connection to, and you want to help. You want to give them $100 or put them up in a home or give them a hotel for a week, or go out of your way because you have it to give to make their lives comfortable. But this Page of Pentacles here is a caution to me on the back end with the Devil, is that you could actually become a victim of their circumstances in a way that you don't even deserve to be so, on account of just trying to help. Sometimes you have the best way to help is to keep hands off, and that sounds really cruel. Especially given I started this about love offerings and giving benevolently and give and take and all that. But you have to really search the spirit as to how you get to be of service. Maybe it's more prayer and meditation for someone's healing, or pointing them in the right direction of resources that will support their healing, than it is actually connecting your energy source to them physically, directly. Because sometimes, sad to say, you got to be careful who you give money to on the street, because you think you're just being benevolent, and here you go, that money gets used for something diabolical, and who's to say that your energy is not connected to whatever that exchange or investment may be. It's no way, once you give it, it's no way to really tell. In this regard, it could be more forward, in the sense that she might go out of her way to help someone that is presenting themselves to be in need, and end up getting swindled. Like you let somebody in your house and they take you for all you're worth because you want to give them a warm place to stay, or you give them money. I don't know, like even the fact that there's something going on behind the scenes, like you think you're giving to him, but you're really giving to them and them. You know what I mean? You funding a whole situation of diabolical activity that you didn't mean to, but now your energy is connected to that force. So you really got to be prayerful about who you're assigned to be a blessing to in this time, unfortunately. Because even look at this, it's like one misinvestment, and now you connected to the devil somehow. You ain't even got nothing to do with the devil. You over here whole, complete, nurturing yourself, catering to your own business, focusing on your own responsibilities, and now you've acquired this new energy. Perhaps maybe they even steal your identity or your cards or something when you're not looking, because you didn't let somebody in your house on account of kindness, and now they running up, hella legal debt in your name that now you have to fight for. And yeah, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe you can get yourself out of it. But again, it's like, is it really worth the risk? There are some people that you are absolutely assigned to be of service to, and there are some people that you just have to be in service and prayer, like intercessory service in a sense. And there is nothing wrong with that. That may be more powerful than any money you could ever give, quite honestly. Any material offering that you could make. Consider, when I started this, I said a love offering. A love offering in a physical sense is money, but in a spiritual sense, it could absolutely be prayer and supplication. You know, really proclaiming the best for someone's healing. Yeah, look at this. Proclaiming the best, and there's the Empress card. I didn't even mean to do that. I'll keep her on the bottom. So we know the Empress is on the bottom. That's what flipped out. Let me see what these are, and then I'll see what's on the top. Yeah, because you're in a position of power and authority and fertility and fruitfulness and prosperity and all these great things. Like, it don't get no better than to have the transition from the Queen of Pentacles to the Empress. So it's like you have much to protect, very much. You may have children of your own. And imagine, given all that you have, or imagine even, God forbid, especially with starting this as a love offering or some emotional advancement, you letting somebody in your house because there's some emotional attachment and you want them to heal and you want to be the one to add value to their lives, and you even feel encouraged that you could be that transitional support for them. And then this is a kid energy here, Page of Pentacles. Your kid be turned upside down, be hurt, harmed, or disenfranchised in some way on account of your decision to extend yourself beyond yourself. You know, like, be careful, man, because the spirits is strong out here. Whatever is being fought on the inside of people, especially when they're in their lower natures and feeling captivated by it, they don't even really, it's like you can't even take it personally. Consider if you ever had someone who's been addicted to any type of substance or a habit in your life, and you know, old world, you know, some people stealing your appliances, you know, your TV, you know, you let them in the house, family members and such. I never had this happen to me personally, but everybody knows of a story or knows of someone, or if you ever been in the hood, has encountered someone that has a random TV strapped to his back that he trying to sell you for $10. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, that came from somebody's home that he either infiltrated or that he was entrusted to enter, you know? So it's like, you can't even be mad at the spirit, you know, or I should say you can't even be mad at the person, because it's the spirit that is more or less overtaking them that is in play and that is activated and almost in control. Unfortunately, these two people are bound by their ambitions and at best their ambitions, considering it may just be for money and finances and stability, but at worst their addictions, and that's the force that is hard to combat. And it definitely doesn't happen. You could love somebody to life and they still would have to want to go on that journey of healing for themselves. And right now, whomever this is not a 100% yes to investing in the healing and wholeness of himself. He's just not there. And it's the Five of Swords here against what? Your home and stability. Like I said, this is literally a home, a house with the Four of Wands, something stable, secure. This is a breach of that security potentially. Also here, this past relationship, it could be somebody from your past, again, that you have an emotional connection to. Could be family, could be a friend, a long lost friend, could be an old lover returning. You know, I get the sense that it's more in the way of, I mean, the Knight of Wands, if it was the Page of I'm sorry, not the Knight. I'm always saying wrong suit, so I hope you're looking, because sometimes I'm talking too fast. But if it's the Knight of Cups, if it was the Page of Cups, I could consider it more of a family vibe, perhaps. You know, I don't know why I'm saying that, but that's just how I feel. It could still be family, somebody that is just a bit immature in their emotional development, or a little underdeveloped emotionally speaking, even as an adult. You know what I mean? It could be that, but I get the sense that it's more of a love offering, someone that's looking to make an exchange, an emotional exchange with you, but that just doesn't have much to really offer, that's looking to gain more than what they have to offer. And that's here with the Six of Cups, which would be balanced. This is perhaps even how you remember them, where there was some great nostalgia here and happy memories and, something that the person who's offering this cup would probably play on, that connectivity here to gain access to this stability, to literally to your home, to your finances, to your fortune in somewhere, even just to your energy, to put it plainly, because the Wands is about energy and power, like to your energy and creativity, that they know you have some source of stability, again, as a mirror to the Queen of Cups, and now the Empress on the board, So this is like two, and then the Five of Pentacles here on the side. It's like you may remember them this way, but this is who they are right now. And this is absolutely, if the Six of Pentacles is, if it wasn't just about stability and finances, for sure, the Five of Pentacles is the expression of that destitute energy that I'm speaking of, where this is more than just, I just need a little help to get through next week, or I got a bill that I can't pay, or whatever, something more or less conventional. This is like out in the cold, outside of the sanctity of their own spirit, not even in control of their spiritual nature anymore with the Five of Pentacles. They can't control this disparity. So although they may have all these, you may have even shared a home with them or some experience of stability in the past, or maybe a partner, whatever it is, it's definitely giving partnership vibes here with the Six of Pentacles from the past or some past connection. But if you have positioned yourself to be in a stable situation, this is like balanced at its best with the Four of Wands and the Six of Cups. You have too much to protect to be offering your energy elsewhere. Right about now, I'm sorry to say this, and it might sound really harsh, but there really aren't too many people that you can open yourself up to that even give you an inkling of question. Like if there is even a glimmer of obscurity, as in with the Moon card, where it's like, where'd you come from type of situation. You ain't seen this person in years. You ain't talked to them in months. You don't know what they've been up to. You don't know what they've been investing in, what they've been connected to. Not to mention if you actually do, that's a whole nother situation. But if there is any cause for question right now, unfortunately, I would say be very cautious, because you just don't know. And because you don't know, it's not safe. This is a 5 and a 5, 2 and 5 here, 3 5s, 5 5 5, which is big changes. Perhaps you are going through some great transitions of your own, and this is what could actually stop your progress and prosperity in its tracks by just one wrong move, feeling obligated, feeling inclined emotionally so, guilted even, to give in a circumstance that is not set up for you to be attached to. You have to be discerning as the Empress, who's in control of herself, of her resources, of her fertility, her productivity. She has a lot, considering a pregnant woman engaging, these characters on the street, or the devil himself. The devil is here for sure. There's no way to really get around that. That means that something that is extremely imbalanced is at play here, and it's beyond what you can truly conceive of, because it's behind you here with the Queen of Pentacles. You don't even see, you don't have the full perspective of what this is, and that's okay. You don't need to, unless this is happening within you, or it's in some close proximity to you. That's a different story. But if this is someone that's coming along presenting themselves to be in connection or commitment or collaboration. And as I always like to say, this could be intimately so, as is very pronounced to be, but it could also be someone that you have an emotional attachment to, presenting themselves to be a partner for prosperity, like creative partner or business partner. They got this idea and you got the funds and they want you to invest in it. You know, it's got to be a no for you, dog. I'm sorry. It's real clear cut here in this regard, that whatever is obscure about it, you know, if you can't account for the whereabouts of this offer and exchange, the source of it all, if you can't see all the ins and outs, and there's a funny feeling about it. Now, we don't have any Queen of Cups on the board for intuition, but just use your intelligence, you know what I mean? Like, be practical, as the Queen of Pentacles is, to protect your value and what you have acquired and achieved for yourself. And it's no guilt or shame on you whatsoever to be protective of your own stability, especially not now. Not now. This is not this. Oh, wow, look at that. And there's the King of Pentacles. This is about the proactivity of being protective and stable and secure in what you've acquired. So this is the Queen of Pentacles is definitely one that is more prone to nurturing and being compassionate. You know, she'll be more receptive to an offer or possibility. The King of Pentacles is definitely more proactive about protecting his assets. And I feel like that's here for that real reason alone, honestly. Protect your assets in spirit and in truth, monetarily, you know, energetically, mentally, emotionally. It calls for an all-out objective of protection for your power, ultimately, because that's what it is. As I've said, like, your energetic prowess is your material productivity and prosperity is one and the same. So if you're pouring out of your spirit and giving your time or your energy or something which is highly valued, as these are the two most highly valued king and queen on the deck, they have something to offer and something to lose, quite honestly, you know. Something to love and something to lose is the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. And the Empress is just speaking to the unlimited fertility of their potential. But surely, as it is known to you, it is perceivable outside of you. You know, you may even be low key in some regard. Like I said, they're very practical beings. It's not the Queen of Wands, the King of Wands, where they're a little bit more flashy and pronounced with, you know, their affluence in a sense. These are people that definitely appreciate the finer things in life, but aren't necessarily like flexing, you know. But it's still known, because even if you're not flexing out here with hella designer clothes and fancy car and a big old house, you know, there's still an energy of stability that a certain vibe such as these gives off, that makes you prime for manipulation, dare I say attack. So again, if you can't verify the vitality of the offer, certainly, securely, spiritually, and truthfully, it's a no thank you. God bless you. I'm praying with you. You know, do as much as you feel led and guided to do for the ultimate prosperity of that person that you care about, really and truly. But your first priority is to protect your energetic flow, because if you fall off, then who wins? You know, you demote yourself from this position of potential and power to really serve the community in the way that you've been ordained to do so, because now you're wrapped up into something that doesn't even have anything to do with you and that you are not assigned to. There are assignments with your name on it out there of people that not only need and want your help, but are in the position to fully receive it and make you great value and use of it, so that it's not in vain. The people that you're helping are able to ultimately, or will be able to ultimately, help themselves. And that's the ideal investment at this time, quite honestly. Everything else is a big question mark or a flat out no, which is, as we know, a complete sentence. Prayer is paramount, and it is most certainly impactful. Do not underestimate the power of your words of affirmation and prayer for someone above anything that you could ever pull out of your pockets, okay? So that's it. I'm done. I just felt like I had to really say that loud, you know. But anyway, best wishes and much prosperity, continued prosperity to you as someone who obviously is in the position to share and has, you know, done some great investing in self to have much to offer in life, you know, and much to offer yourself is which you should be proud of, and much to offer the communities and surroundings that you do serve. So bless you and bless them immensely. And again, I pray protection and peace over your vitality in the most practical sense and spiritual sense, so that you can not only continue to acquire wealth and stability and security, but that you're able to maintain it even as you are in exchange and in benevolence to others. Make sure that you bless yourself just the same. All right. So with that being said, thank you so much. Peace be unto you and to all those that you serve or those that you come in contact with, and certainly a prayer for those that are in need, lest I say that, dear God. Bless those that are in need of healing right now, that are at an odds with their spiritual truth and strength, that are in search of relief and some type of some type of escape from some extent extenuating circumstances. Allow them to be connected to the truth and the healing that is most certainly going to be vitalizing, holistically, so from the inside out. That comes from that spiritual satisfaction that can only be accessed from being a yes to your highest vibration of self, from answering to that call from the inside of you to be better than you are experiencing yourself to be, and to overcome the circumstances that project to you anything but power and prosperity at this time. Bless all those that are, falling vulnerable to such spirits. Break those spirits and those chains, release them from it, and give them the strength and the will to release themselves in mind, body, and spirit. It is so, and so it is. And until next time, peace.